Hi, everyone. All right. I don't know if I'm going the right way here. There we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Aglipay. I am the COO and co-founder of Pippen AI. We're a software company whose mission it is to solve the paperwork problem for family doctors. And we launched just 18 months ago, and now we're in 1,200 family doctors' offices across the country, and I am here to share with you how we did that and how we continue to build. Okay, so to know about Pippen is to know that this was not our first venture. Our first venture was actually a small business, a family medicine clinic that we started in 2018 in the Beaches neighborhood in Toronto. And so my co-founder here was and is a family doctor. And our mission was really simple at the time. It was to build a family medicine clinic where doctors actually wanted to work. And so, because he's a family doctor, he had kind of seen the decrepit workflows and conditions that family doctors had to endure, and so we really set out to build something better. And so, with our limited funds as young entrepreneurs, we ended up buying a space, and we built it from the ground up, and we really built, the clinic of our dreams. And that's what it looks like, isn't it pretty? So fast forward a few years, plot twist, I marry my co-founder. And we recruit the most amazing team. And we recruit additional doctors to work at the clinic, and everything is going amazing. Or so you would think. But more and more, I begin to lose this guy to a new term that I had learned, something called paperwork, which is really sort of a nebulous term for the millions of steps it takes for a family doctor to do any one single task. So anyway, a couple years ago, I drag him to an academic conference out in the East Coast, and we sort of take a road trip down the Cabot Trail, and we sort of revisit the dream, right? We had built this family medicine clinic, it's been a couple years now. Was it everything that we hoped for? Was it everything that we wanted? And the answer was, how could it possibly be? He was so burnt out and so demoralized from all of the unpaid administrative tasks. So unpaid is a really big deal here. All the unpaid administrative tasks that he couldn't imagine doing this for a few more years, let alone a few more decades, which is really what we had planned. And so, during this trip, we sort of put our heads together and we thought, we need to build something better to make family medicine more sustainable. And around that same time, large language models were really starting to become more and more powerful. And so we knew that we could leverage this technology to do something better for this field. And so, why not us, with so much skin in the game? This is us in our first office, which is the laundry room of our house. Why not us? Well, first of all, none of these people are software engineers. We don't have any experience in building software. But what we did have was a super, super precise vision of what exactly we wanted to build. And so before we had approached any engineers, we had already made a 90-page software requirements specification document with a Figma, really rough Figma. We had learned Figma in like a day. And we put together something that we thought we wanted to build. And then what we did was we brought in the grown-ups, which meant that we hired a team. So a team that was already experienced in building secure and private systems, a team that was local to Toronto here, and knew exactly what we needed, and they definitely executed for us. Another thing we did from day one was we got our privacy in order. So day one, we hired legal, so somebody at the intersection of AI and healthcare, and they made sure our contracts were rock solid. They helped us get our privacy impact assessment before we launched. And from then on, we've kept building our privacy program. It is an investment, but honestly, it's an investment that has paid off because in digital health, trust is a non-negotiable. So then, we've got our MVP in hand, we've got our privacy. We ask the scariest question: if you build it, will they come? This is what happened to us. So in the first 6 months, we managed to reach over 400 family doctors across the country. And this was a huge success to us. And I think it really speaks to two things. So the first is that we were solving a really painful problem. So this wasn't a problem just for my co-founder, AJ. This was a problem for doctors across the country, and what we built resonated with them. The second thing we did right, so I'm not a software engineer, I'm not a doctor, but I am a PhD-trained epidemiologist and data scientist. And so what we did was we treated our company like a series of experiments. So we experimented on everything from ideal customer to go-to-market to onboarding to every new feature built. And I think that's really served us well. This is a great book, The Experimentation Machine by Jeff Busgang. He teaches you how to sort of treat your startup like an experimentation machine. And so if I leave you with a few things, I think they'd be this. So obsess over the workflow. If your product is amazing, but it doesn't fit into doctors' workflows or your users' workflows, they're not going to use it. Treat compliance as a strategy. It really paid off for us to be really rigorous with this from the beginning. Run experiments, not guesses. So, try something, but also measure and follow up afterward. And then I think one of the most important things is really solve something that hurts, because if you are, I think your customers will find you. And what is this? Oh, so, there's been some ups and downs in building, as I'm sure all of you know. But honestly, if you're just beginning this journey, nothing really is any better than seeing someone log into your app, use it day after day, and then tell you they love it. It feels like literally a goddamn miracle, honestly. So I am super privileged and grateful to be operating in this space. Thank you so much. Happy to take questions.
I think we have time for 2 or 3 questions. Anyone?
Great presentation. What channel pathway did you find most effective to reach the family practices, the 400, within the first 6 months?
Yeah, so because my co-founder is a family doctor and I am an academic, we're both really plugged into the healthcare professional network. And so I think, getting, first of all, your first customers and getting a champion, I think, was really powerful for us, because that champion, they don't always want to hear it from the founders, but if they hear about your product from a friend, from a colleague, it really, really helps.
Follow-on question. If you're a founder of a health tech company that is not an MD, what advice would you give them to reach to those MDs?
Great question. I think it's really to work closely with your customer, right? It's really to have, I think, a strong pulse on what your customer wants. So we're lucky in that we have kind of, an unfair advantage because our co-founder is an MD. But if you can talk to your customers every single day and really understand the pains, I think that'll set you up for the future.
Last question.
From a data governance perspective, who owns the data in the app? Your company or the physicians or the patient?
Yeah, so good question. So the physicians are the healthcare data custodians. I don't own the data, and we never train on the data. That's built within our terms of service. And yeah, it's really important to us that we don't train on that data or sell that data. I know other companies do, and they could make a lot of money that way, but that's not how we operate.
We're going to take a couple more questions.
Thank you. That was a great presentation. So, Mary, I just have a question around how you compete with a company like Healwell AI. those who own the clinics can control the tech within. So how are you penetrating a market? Are you going to go after turning clinic after clinic? And maybe if you can go into a little bit more depth around, like, what did AI really solve for you? Is it just automation of a existing workflow, or was there a little bit more to the science that you used?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. It's very difficult to go up against incumbents, and I think all of us have seen that. But I think when you build a product that serves a need that these EMRs, for example, aren't servicing, I think doctors see that and they recognize that in your product. So so HealWell, they have a great product, but they're not specific to family doctors, and the note that they produce is not necessarily resonating with family doctors. And so what we always try to do is build a product that resonates with our customer base really, really deeply. In addition, it's funny because we've managed to get on the same RFP or request for proposal lists as HealWell, despite being a team of less than 10. And so it tells me there's a signal there that we are building functionality that these other companies aren't building currently.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I'm Heidi. I actually live in the neighborhood of your clinic, and I'm going to go talk to you about something after. But I have a very fast question. What is the name of your company? What does it mean? And how did you come up with your brand?
Yeah, Pippen. So Pippen, luckily our trademarks just came through a couple days ago. It's a basketball nod, and I will leave it at that. But the greatest assist to the greatest player in the world. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, this is actually the last question.
Congratulations on the uptake. That was amazing uptake in a very short period of time. I just wondered if you're planning to expand into specific verticals, so specialists, and maybe know an OB who might be interested if you're going into different areas of specialization.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I mean, we've niched down into family medicine, but we're finding that specialists are finding us, and they still want to use our product and adapt it to their workflows. So there's definitely a market there. I think we're still going to build for family doctors because this is the workflow that we love and understand and know there's a really painful problem here. But that's not to say that we're not going to expand into other verticals in the future. Thank you.
We give a big round of applause.